What's going on, YouTube? Billy Rains here, coming to you on the Billy Rains channel, and today we're going to be going over a video I was watching this morning on YouTube from a YouTuber called Trucking Along with Kearsey. I'll put a link to her channel down in the description below, probably. So she's making a video about the top 5 reasons you should not get into trucking. And basically, my idea based off this idea is I'm going to go through her 5. I haven't even watched it yet. I'm going to go through her 5 reasons why you shouldn't get into trucking. And I'm going to go and explain why these reasons should not stop you from getting into trucking. Maybe she'll stump me and she'll have a reason that's so good that you shouldn't get into trucking that I can't come up with a counter argument. But we'll see. We'll see. That's what the video is going to be about, though. Let's talk about it. All right, so before we get too far in the video, I just want to make sure to ask you guys very nicely, if you would be so kind, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you like the content, or if you just want to help a brother out. Leave me a comment down below what you think about either, is this a good time to get into trucking? Is this not a good time to get into trucking? Let me know down in the comments down below, and hit that bell so you see these videos as soon as they come out. Also, right now, because I'm taking her content, I want to give her a little shout out and run the commercial that she kind of runs in her video. I'm going to run that right now.
Would I love a referral bonus from you for you to come to Prime, for me to train you for your seat to get your CDL?
Sorry to leave you guys on a cliffhanger. I don't know if you are wondering what she's going to say, but I just wanted to draw attention right here. Do you think she couldn't slide over like 8-9 inches to like where that cord isn't in the way? I don't know. I don't know. You guys let me know.
Absolutely. Put my driver code down in your application, ROTWKI. That's ROTWKI. And if you put recruiter Nikki Yost, we can make that happen.
So that's Kearsey's little commercial for Prime Inc. If you're not interested in Prime Inc., but you're interested in like maybe a different company to lease for, like maybe a company that doesn't go to the Northeast all the way, or doesn't go out west, or doesn't go to Florida, or whatever. You know, if you're interested in a solid, full maintenance lease, you know, you could come to Trucks For You. I got the recruiter's information down in the description below.
If you want to know how I lost 65 pounds in 6.5 months, comment down below and let me know, because I will do a video about that.
I, for one, definitely want to see that video of how you lost 65 pounds, Kearsey, because it is hard out here losing weight.
Say number 1, if you cannot stand to be uncomfortable, trucking is not for you.
Gotta say, pretty solid number 1 with the comfortability, because look, if you can't stand the slightest bit of discomfort, I don't know how you function in any job. But basically the reasoning she gives is because like you'll have to be in a tight space, which is true. Trucks are tight, like especially sleeper cabs. I'm not necessarily in a sleeper truck right now, but I've been in sleeper trucks and it's tight, but you'll get used to it. Also, she explains that you have to be with somebody else. So you have to live in a tight space with someone else, which is true while you're training, right? Like, so while you're training as long as you don't go to a company like Prime, where you have to be with a trainer for like 6 months, training's only a few weeks where you have to be in a truck with someone else. So I don't necessarily think that's necessarily the worst thing on the planet. Another thing she tackles is weather and how uncomfortable it can be driving in snow and wind and just getting in and out of the truck in different conditions, which is true. That can be really uncomfortable. But like driving, she mentioned 60-mile-per-hour winds. A lot of times if the wind's blowing that hard, you're going to shut down anyway. So you're not going to be driving in that. And at the end of the day, you are the captain of your ship. So if you can't drive in the conditions, shut it down.
Number 2, if you have sleep problems, if you have certain sleep requirements.
So coming to you from the studio again. Anyway, so the second thing she does is sleeping, right? So the second issue is sleeping. If you have a problem with sleeping, then you shouldn't get in trucking. What I'll say to that, and I'll keep this one short because I don't want this video to end up being 30 minutes long, is when you get tired enough, you'll sleep, right? So when you get tired enough, you'll sleep. And if you have a problem where you need to sleep at night, she says it in the video. And if you guys want, go watch the video. She elaborates on these points a lot. Like, it's a 20-minute video and I'm just clipping out each individual section and talking about it. So if you have a problem sleeping and you need to sleep at night, don't get into reefer. Get into flatbed or drive-in because you'll sleep a lot more nights that way. Will you always be able to sleep at night? No. There's going to be times where even as a drive-in driver, you're going to deliver to grocery warehouses. And when you deliver to grocery warehouses, then you're going to have to deliver early morning also. So, but that'll help you out some.
You're somebody that always has to be a planner, and you think you're just going to plan something and it's going to be like that and that's the way it's going to be. It's not going to work. I'm sorry.
So point number 3, I think, is flexibility. Like, if you're not a flexible person, then you shouldn't get into trucking. Which I think if you're completely unflexible, yeah, you probably shouldn't get into trucking. But I think you can plan your days out pretty good, right? So if you don't have much flexibility, once you get your load, you do have a certain amount of control over how you run those miles between point A and point B. So I'll say, yeah, flexibility is important, very important. So she picked a good one on this one.
Something else is, trucking is not RVing. This is not a travel agency. So don't come into this with the idea of, I'm going to get paid to see the country.
Point number 4 is this is a job. This isn't RVing. That was her point. And basically she was saying that if you are getting into trucking to see the country, that is the wrong reason to get into trucking, which I would disagree with. She made a good point about not necessarily getting to stop every day, but just even driving, you're seeing the country. You're seeing some of the most beautiful things. And given, it'll get old after a few months, right? It'll get old. I mean, sometimes it won't. Like when you wake up and start driving and the sun's coming up over the Rocky Mountains and it's like a beautiful shade of like purple and orange and it's over the mountains and they've got snow on it. I mean, that never gets old. And so you will see the country. You just won't be able to stop as much, especially, and this is like she's at prime, so she's training or teaming or whatever. So if you're teaming or in training, you'll have 0 time because you'll have to run as hard as you can to get places, right? So like they'll schedule loads to where the truck has to be moving 24/7 and you won't get to stop. So in that way, she is right. But in other ways, like if you're a flatbed or I don't know, flatbed's kind of tight, but like if you're driving or whatever, like you are basically, like I said earlier, you are the captain of your ship. So if you have a 2-day run, you get to pick where you stop for your 10-hour break. You get to stop, you get to pick somewhat, you know what I mean? So there is some control in it, and you will see a lot more of the country trucking than you will working your 9 to 5 at the factory.
Something else is, if you can't make decisions, then don't think about this.
So her last point number 5, because she quits number on them after number 2. Like she does 1, 2, and then she just lists the next 3. But point number 5 is responsibility, and this is by far the one I agree with her the most on. Basically what she's saying is if you, basically she's saying you need to understand the responsibility of driving. And if you don't go watch her video, I'll explain some of it here. When you are driving a truck, an 18-wheeler, truck trailer, whatever you want to call it, when you're driving this big hunk of steel, metal, aluminum, plastic, whatever, down the road, 80,000 pounds, you have to understand and be okay with the realistic possibility you could kill somebody and it not even be your fault. You could wreck. You could kill yourself. You could, all these things. You could be driving on the side of a cliff where you've got fucking 6 inches of space between you and a death drop, and you could blow a steer, lose control, and go down that hill and die. You could be driving down the road and a car could swerve into your lane and hit you and kill you. That's just the stuff you can't control. There's tons of things you can control that would kill you, and that's something you have to be completely okay with. And if you have any doubts about that, or if that bothers you, you probably should not get into trucking, because that's a very real possibility of this job. It's very, very dangerous. You could drive 20, 30, 40 years and never even have a blowout. Unlikely, but you could. Or your very first day out here in your trainer's truck, like I said, you could be driving on the side of a mountain and you could have a blowout on your steer tire and you could just completely run off the side of the road and die. So she did a good job of explaining that, and you guys should go check her video out if you haven't already. If you haven't already seen her video, you should go check it out. I'm just kind of giving my thoughts on her video. But anyway, guys, we've got that green light, so we've got to get out of here. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done it already, hit that bell, comment down below what you think about these 5 points, what you think about getting into trucking in 2023. Just give me your opinion. I appreciate it. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.